Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch the content. I really do appreciate all the support you continue to show the channel. Today we are going over Sony's financial report. There's some very interesting data that I think is worth taking some time here to go over, but there's also something here that I think is really good news for the PlayStation 5, something that I think a lot of people are going to be happy to hear about. So before we get into this, do me a favor, if you do end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help the videos more than you know. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. So we're going to go over here to MBG Sales over on Twitter, where he breaks some of this down for us in a really easily digestible way. He says PlayStation fiscal year 21 Q4 results. The PS5 shipped 2 million units. The PS5 lifetime shipments now sit at 19.3 million. So the PS5 has sold just under 20 million, 70.5 million units of PlayStation software for the quarter, 14.5 million units of first-party games for the quarter, digital software ratio 71%. It's worth noting when it comes to digital software ratio, I believe that doesn't just count full video games, that counts everything else that is sold digitally as well, such as DLC, microtransactions, so on and so forth. So even though that number does look very large, we do have to consider that it's taking all of that into account. He continues by saying 47.4 million PS Plus subscribers and 106 million monthly active users. Now, something else I do want to point out here in regards to these numbers is going over to Zubitech over on Twitter. He points out since PlayStation 5 launched, over 468.8 million units of software have been sold. Staggering numbers, PlayStation equals sales. He continues by saying, why would you want to kill sales by putting games into a subscription service? Games sell millions on PlayStation. Now, I wanted to be sure to put emphasis on this statistic in particular because I think it does a good job in revealing why Sony is doing what they're doing. And it also reveals that this is what PlayStation players do. They buy video games. Not only does Sony know this when it comes to their first-party games and why they will not be putting their games into a subscription service day and date, but their partners realize this as well. The fact is, PlayStation sells millions upon millions upon millions of units of games from both their first-party and their third-party partners. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. But what's also important to understand is that this number is not remaining static, nor is it declining. It's actually the opposite. It's increasing. Sony is selling more and more software on their platform at full price. And we know that Sony has no intention of doing a subscription-based model like something that is similar to Xbox Game Pass. And I think that it's, again, important to look over this data and realize that this is exactly why. It's because Sony makes their profit, they make their money by selling games at full price. More importantly, and this is, I think, the most important point I can make, they do so because the market is okay with that. The market is okay with spending money on video games, on buying video games, whether it's at full price or maybe they're at a discount, but nonetheless, they're buying these games in full. Could be physically, could be digitally. This is the way it works on the PlayStation platform, and it's working really well. I think that we have to highlight that because, again, there's just a lot of conversation that makes the rounds on the internet that tries to paint a different picture that is not an accurate picture, and people begin to, I think, see things unclearly and in a way that's just simply not true. But we're going to move on now to what I consider to be the very good news regarding the PS5 that we're hearing from Sony. So this is reading from VGC, where they have a title that says Sony expects to ship 56% more PS5s this year and claims demand is higher than that. Sony has said it expects to sell 56% more PS5s during its current financial year compared to the previous period, and claim that even this won't satisfy consumer demand. The company announced on Tuesday it had shipped 11.5 million PS5 consoles during the fiscal year 21 financial year, which ended March 2022, missing out on its initial target of 14.8 million consoles by over 3 million units, which is said is due in part to the shortages. However, the company said it expects to sell significantly more PS5 consoles during its current fiscal year ending in March 2023 at around 18 million units, and that it felt very comfortable it could achieve that target. Commenting further during Sony's financial webcast on Tuesday, CFO Hiroki Totoki suggested that the company was being conservative with its projected hardware sales numbers because this is what it felt it could safely produce within current conditions. 18 million units is what we feel very comfortable we can get the parts and components for during fiscal year 22, Totoki said during the webcast, transcribed by VGC. We feel that there is a little bit higher demand than that, so if the question is if we can meet the demand, I think we're still short somewhat. He added, regarding our stock and inventory, it still remains very low, so in order to provide our PlayStation units to customers in a timely basis, we're still behind or short. We were originally talking about 22.6 million by this point. This was reduced because of the constraints of components. When it comes to the procurement of components, we have not given up on this. We would like to continue to work on this. At this point in time, what we can say safely is that we can achieve the necessary components for 18 million units. Now, while it may not seem like it, guys, this is actually really good news. And what it shows us and what it reveals to us is that Sony is fully expecting the shortage to not necessarily come to an end, but subside significantly over the next 12 months. And I think this is really important because we covered an article last week, or a report, I should say, that came from, I believe, Intel CEO saying that they believe the chip shortage could last until 2024. And I think that maybe led a lot of us, including myself, to think that, oh man, is it going to be this bad until 2024? But Sony is telling their investors and telling their stockholders that, look, at the bare minimum, what we essentially can guarantee is a 56% increase when it comes to overall PS5 sales. And this ultimately means that people will have an easier time getting their hands on PS5s each month going forward. And it's worth noting that Sony is making it clear that this is a conservative goal that they're going to achieve, and essentially making it known that it could increase, that things could actually end up better than this. It could be that the 56% could raise up to 60, maybe 70, maybe 75%, depending on how well things go over the next year for them. But at the very least, I think that something people are going to be happy to know is that Sony is guaranteeing that they will be able to produce 18 million units at the bare minimum over the next year. And considering during that time we still will be in a shortage, that's pretty good. And I think that this is a good sign for the PS5 overall. And I think it's also a good sign that by the time we get to, say, March 2023, I know that's almost a year from now, but when we do get to that point, there's a good chance the shortage could be finally coming to an end, and this just won't be a problem for Sony or consumers anymore. But I also want to talk about what Sony is saying about PlayStation Plus. So once again, reading from VGC, it says Sony has said it's not concerned about a recent dip in PlayStation Plus subscribers and claimed it has great expectations for its upcoming revamp planned for the summer. In the company's fiscal year 2021 financial results published on Tuesday, Sony reported total PS Plus subscribers of 47.4 million during March 2022, which is down 0.6 million from the previous quarter, December 2021, and by 0.2 million year on year. This appears to represent only the second time in 8 years that PlayStation Plus subscriber numbers have dipped between quarters, with the first dip also having been recorded during the company's 2021 fiscal year in Q1. Sony also recorded a slight decline in monthly active users in March 2022 at 106 million, which is down 5 million from the previous quarter and 3 million year on year. So because of this, Sony was asked during the results call what they think of this, what's going on, why is there a decline, and what are they expecting. And once again, Hiroki Totoki explained that because PlayStation in general, and obviously the amount of people engaging with the PlayStation Network and PlayStation Plus, saw a massive boom over the past year and a half because of everything that was going on in the world, because things are starting to go back to normal, or are, pretty much close to being back to normal. There was obviously going to be a decline, but in general, PlayStation Plus is apparently still in a very, very good position, and they seem to have a lot of hope that the revamp of PlayStation Plus is going to help. He says here, we will start the renewal of PS Plus from June onwards in a staged manner, and we would like it to stably grow and be supported by users. I would like you to have great expectations for this together with me. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what you need to know about PlayStation Plus and where it stands with Sony. There is a decline. It seems that this decline is kind of to be expected, but Sony is hoping that with the revamp of PlayStation Plus, they're going to see some type of growth and, some type of positive effect from that. So there you go. That's pretty much everything you need to know when it comes to Sony's financial report. There's not too much being said about like acquisitions or anything like that. Nothing major at this point. I think we can just continue to assume that that is something that Sony's going to continue to look into. But in general, it's looking like Sony is in a good position. Specifically, PlayStation is in a good position. They're investing, Sony that is, more so in PlayStation than ever before. And the growth is continuing. And so hopefully within the next year, PS5 sales will continue to improve. And with that, we'll continue to see more and more developers support the console. We'll get some more great games for it. And overall, we'll just see the PlayStation brand continue to do what it does best. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Again, I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Leave it a like if you did. Leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. And feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.